And today is the holiday edition of the AM show. And look, I have all the time to myself, so I need to speak the way I want to speak. And this is a nice request to you, my good friend who is with the Boku Presbyterian Hospital, Salifu Combat, you're a pharmacist. Good morning to you, and also your wife, Flora. And I hope that you and the children, you're having some great time this morning in Boku. And also to some of my good friends who live in Ashaiman, especially the chief for the Zongo community as well, and some of my best friends who have grown up with me, and we've had some great times together eating shinkafa and the rest of all the things in Ashaiman. I say good morning to all of you. I'm happy that all of you are in my life, but we have to move on. We have to take a look at what we have for this morning by way of the dailies. We just have a couple of them, the Ghanaian Times, the Daily Guide, and also the Daily Graphic. But before we do so, we again are intensifying our campaign, our advocacy on making sure that our country improves fortification for our borders. And our reporters have been telling us stories of how crime is on the upsurge along some of those border communities or towns, because our own Ghana immigration offices lack the needed wherewithal to stop criminals from entering the country. So today we'll put some of these issues into better perspective, as we have the Deputy Controller of the Ghana Immigration Service who will be joining us this morning on the show, and it promises to be quite exciting. Also this morning, we'll be telling you about our latest Hotline documentary, because that's what we do. We tend to preview or premiere every week a new documentary. And the latest this morning is titled Mind to Mind. It is a documentary produced by our own Nancy Mafajiradosi, and it features Rebecca, a mentally unstable woman who got pregnant on the street of our capital, Accra, and abandoned by her family subsequently and her friends to her fate. It speaks volumes about the weak nature of mental health, the lack of structures we have in our society, the structures of welfare and care and caregiving we have for those who tend to have psychotropic problems in our country. And Skyping to the studio will be Nancy Mafajiradosi, the documentary producer. Promises to be exciting and very educative as well. And as you know, we already have been bringing to you stories from the good delegation of the British High Commissioner, who is undertaking the Ghana Grand Tour. Ian Walker is cycling 1,000 kilometers from northern to southern part of our country, Ghana, to raise funds to support the plastics and burns unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Kojo Yankson has also been on the team, and we told you about Kojo Yankson and how we were expecting him to be on the bike when he was giving us all the links in the previews. And so we'll look at day 2 and day 3 as well, and preview what expectations will be for day 4. And we know that you're also going to enjoy. But right now, let's hit your screens with the latest newspapers we have. We'll also look at myjournline.com as well. But let's go to the Ghanaian Times. And on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, we have 40 Zongo youth for Cuba to study medicine. And this has been announced by the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And we know we've had some great relations with the Cubans. And in 2012, according to a former president, John Dramani Mahama, a number of young people who were good to study medicine were selected, especially from Zongo communities, and mainly women, to make sure that when they come back, they give their all and their best to the same communities that they came from or grew up in. We also have on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, Catholic Bishops Conference condemns Prophet Kobe's comments on women. You can find that story on page 11 of the Ghanaian Times. 6 die, 12 injured in an accident at Kweutafo, happened over the weekend. Very tragic. And IGP orders interdiction of 2 police officers, and that's on page 3. And it's all because there's been a missing rifle that they could account for. Let's go to the center spread of the Ghanaian Times. It says, President applauds UENR, that will be the University of Energy and Natural Resources, for establishing medical school. That's a good one. Step up female desk or set up female decks at Ghana Armed Forces, according to the Chief of Staff. That's a good one. On the back page, though, it's full of sports stories, as always. Ashgold Hold FC Akonangwe in Equatorial Guinea and Kotoko fall to Kano Pillars. And Kano Pillars in one of the top Nigerian teams alongside Nyimba. And, well, my team, Kumasi Asantiko, we're not able to win, but we're expecting them back home, Kumasi. And if Kano Pillars come, say, okay, so let's go to the Daily Graphic. The Daily Graphic has a main story: equip yourselves with skills. Vice President charges Muslim youth. And it says the Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia has urged Muslim youth to take advantage of all the training programs being rolled out by government to equip themselves with the skills necessary for making a meaningful contribution to national development. He was addressing fellow Muslims in the Black Star Square in a Crown Sunday after this year's Eid al-Adha prayers. Other stories we have on the front page of the Daily Guide: dismissed GCB Bank staff petition Shraj. Education shares means the development, according to the president. PDS agreement saga: Al-Kut knew of guarantee done well, speaks out. On the back page, government recruit 58 vet professionals. Back page of the Daily Graphic. And IGP interdicts 2 police officers. We also have center spread, all the highlights of the Muslims, the prayers. We had the Al-Sunnah, while Jamal also marking the Muslim festivities of Eid al-Adha, and then also the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission in Ghana. That will be in the center spread of the Daily Graphic. Let's go to the Daily Guide. The Daily Guide has on the front page, 4th kidnapped girl pops up. We paid 300 Ghana cedi ransom. That's a picture of the kidnapped girl, Ruth Abaka. Ruth Abaka is missing. UNER, that's the University of Natural Resources, to be named after Buzia. This seems to be raising, or has raised, controversy on social media especially. Medical University for North, that's on page 6. Back page, we have Pogba signs bond of good behavior. Kotoko fall gallantly to Pillars. Ashgold Hold Akonangui. And police raid sports agency in Ronaldo Row. Neymar, though, PSG talks more advanced, according to the story. Well, we'll be doing sports very soon. Benedict also has already walked through the studio preparing for the segment. He's actually ready, but let's try to bring you what the highlights of the stories are on myjoyonline.com. It will be up on your screen soon. You get to know what the stories are, myjoyonline.com. But please make sure that for all the things you have to do for the day, you touch base with us, especially on social media. But featuring on myjoyonline.com, African leaders send Eid messages to Muslim faithful. We also have homepage, myjoyonline.com. Photos. Ghana Grand Team rests on day 3 of the tour. We'll bring you all the highlights right here on the show. Koji Yankson is a man there doing great work. I haven't seen much of him cycling though, even though he promised us before making entry on the tour that he will be cycling. But Kojo, please be up and doing. Acting IGP interdicts 2 officers over missing rifle. That's quite interesting. The incident happened at a post just close to Accra. Eid al-Adha, Rawlings urges Muslims to pray for Ghana's peace progress. That's an attached picture of former president and the former first lady. Video. I didn't follow up on a Kufuor visit. It was a waste of time, according to actress Yvonne Nelson. It's quite interesting. Why didn't you follow up? It's a question that many will ask. Finance Ministry confirms over 30 million Ghana cedi indebtedness to Group in doom. We know that we've been in some great difficulties as part of the whole crisis that the banking industry was in. Why didn't NPP protect me after Doomsaw Vigil? Yvonne Nelson again asks, or from that interaction they had on Joy 99.7 FM. And before we go, Norway mosque shooting. Man opens fire on Al Noor Islamic Center. It was a tragic incident that happened in the Nordic country. Usually doesn't happen in the Scandinavians, but this one was just one of a tallest, not very characteristic of that country. Saudi keen to build medical university, 42 SHS blocks for Ghana. This one is a promise. Another promise from Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Okay, so we have to do sports. Benedict Owusu is here with all the highlights. First, we'll begin from Africa. My team, Kumasi Asante Kotoko. You know, we didn't do well with Kano Pillars, but we're waiting for them at the Babanyara Stadium here in Accra. And then Chelsea, I don't know what came over them. Lampard, he's telling us we should brace up for a long season, half season, yeah. I'm predicting that by January we'll give him a sack, but you never know. We will do well, definitely, I think. Targeting the 6th position or 5th position. It's not bad. But in the meantime, Benedict Owusu is here with the latest sports stories. Please do enjoy it.